All right, so a lot of people who have autoimmune conditions end up with what's called polyautoimmunity. It's a big word, it just means a lot. So a lot of autoimmunity. So you may have autoimmunity, such as HASHIMOTO'S thyroiditis, and you end up with some changes in your skin, whether it's eczema, vitiligo, maybe you get MS, maybe you get rheumatoid factor, maybe you have loss of hair, alopecia, maybe you get Sjogren's. There's only 190 autoimmune conditions, and it is consistently the third leading cause of death, but they put them all together. And the reason that is that it creates inflammation. There are underlying reasons as to why it happens. So if you have one and it goes to another, so Hashimoto's often goes to a celiac condition and vice versa. Over time, they have similar inflammatory responses in the digestive system, and that's what can happen. But you can have, let's say, lupus, and then you get another connective tissue disorder, whether it's systemic connective disorder or Sjogren's or scleroderma or something like that. I'm not putting these down, but understand that when you have one, you have the opportunity to have another until that underlying reason hopefully gets in front of it. And sometimes even that doesn't work. Sometimes your immune system is so overactive and it just goes off. So at that point, what do you do to dampen it? What do you do to slow it down? And if somebody is in chronic stress, if they can't sleep, if they can't get their blood sugar in control, if they can't get their life, I mean, let's say like, you know, you're dealing or you're taking care of an elderly parent that's you know, maybe at the end of life, and you're going through a divorce and you're about to get fired from your job. I mean, are you going to help your autoimmunity? No. You're not. There's just too much going on, and it's and that's unfortunate and that's tough, and hopefully you're not in a situation, and if you are, I pray for you to get out of it as soon as you can. Because that's just too much for something that's going on. But again, taking one med or one supplement isn't gonna get the job done. So it's finding out really what those triggers are and backing it off. And hopefully, you know, if you do have an autoimmunity at some point in the autoimmunity pathway, or what we do is as we get things stabilized, or let's say things don't get stabilized, is there another autoimmunity that could potentially be going on? And here's the golden rule that we use, and it came from the Karazian Institute. I'm going to give props to this doctor, Dr. Detis Karazian. He's a smart dude. Been following him for about 20 years, and whatever he puts out. I mean, he used to give a seminar, and there might be a manual like this thick as we're going through, and then at the very end of it, half the manual, I kid you not, were resources or PubMed. I got this from this literature source. I got this from this, and I was like, oh man, he didn't just make this up. And these are for real tests from all over the world. So using PubMed to understand how these things work and how we get to, hey, this polyautoimmunity. So here's what it comes down to in autoimmunity. So let's say you have it or you don't. Hopefully you don't. But the reality is, about if we run blood tests on 75% of the United States population, we're probably going to find something. So if you have anything, it probably has something. That doesn't mean that's our primary focus. It could be secondary too. So if you don't have, nobody ever can seem to find out what's going on with you, and nobody's really been testing some of these other things that are going on inside of you, we should suspect autoimmunity. That's the golden rule that has come out of the majority of the training that comes on, is we want to make sure you don't have something sinister or something big, let's say brain tumor or cancer or something like that. And if everything's been ruled out, we have to suspect autoimmunity. So that's when we start to look at it. And if you have autoimmunity already and everything else has been ruled out, but you're still having this thing going on that's not really related and falls into your autoimmunity, we should be looking for autoimmunity. I'm Dr. Trites. Be well.